So what do you love about being in Marliya?
The thing that I love about being in Marliya is like the energy of dancing, the love that we like share for making music and singing music, and it's just, you know, it's really good.
Why do my eyes keep staring ahead? Why do the zombies rise in the red? Why don't you turn round, realise the ups, downs, see that the storm clouds reflect my mind now? Why can't you see beyond your money, ripping the ground from under my feet? I tread lightly, but you step like lead. I've been into town, I'm losing my head. You send your bias instead. I've been into town, I'm losing my head. Waningali, Waningali, Waningali. Chaos leaves on ground, a breeze so lovely wraps around me and chills. Money can't get back. Pilbara from high sea capillaries, shape of the root, same shape as the tree. Equality seems torn into shreds. I've been into town, I'm losing my head. Waningali, Waningali, Waningali.
The process that Felix and I have kind of discovered for making this music is it stems from sampling our surroundings. The original samples were all more or less taken from the Pilbara, and then I found that I could kind of treat it and affect it, and I was able to kind of EQ and play around with compression and distort and do all these crazy things to the sounds, and actually created something that was totally usable and totally unique, because, you know, a lot of people just use stock sounds. So we've gone and created all our own sounds, which that was attractive to me, the idea of creating something unique.
Well, it's good to have you here today, Michael. You're a big part of this project for me. A lot of the songs began in your neck of the woods, in Roban, which is on Nulama country, I know, but a lot of Yindjibarndi people are there. Real honour to have you in Sydney and part of this show.
Well, thanks. Well, one day, anyways, to the audience, means hello or hi or good morning or good afternoon, and it's a greeting word in the Yindjibarndi language. It's been an experience, really, and also a privilege as well.
I was very captured by the story of the Harding Dam and the rainmaker there, and I thought maybe you could explain what the word Yurala means, and then the context of that song, maybe give the audience an overview.
Well, Yurala is a term we use for people in our community and in our language group who've been chosen by the country. People have responsibility for a particular site, that what we call dalo. In our country, we have dalo for all sorts of things, for kangaroos, for turkeys, bush turkeys, for when the sun gets hot, and in this case, the Yurala is dalo for the rain. And the old fellow who was the Yurala, that we referred to him as the Yurala, he was the rainmaker, and that was his responsibility. So when the country needed rain and there was no sign of it, then he would go to that site and then he would perform that ceremony. And he was known to all of the Yindjibarndi people as the rainmaker and the one who's responsible for that site. And his name was Long Mac.
This one here, they break this one too. There's a place where you used to camp here. Done everything down there. We used to walk down there, up the river. Can't do nothing now. Finish.
One diwa means hello. Nungula inangoranga yaujina. Mandala ngando babu panna nungula. Yondo banawar mago. Loka jar mandarin ngunu wularang wandang nungalam. Munan ngan babu ini ngai ini magai in berba Long Mac.
Down by the Northern where the river runs dry is a story that will bring a teardrop to your eye, where Long Mac used to call the wallow up and make rain there. Song's secret has a colourful sky. He could sing and make the black heavens cry. Wingali Garu nourished that land. He held thunder in the palm of his hand. The red dust from the iron ore train will make a white cocky all stained and rusty. And rich boys and the royal family, they long that he died. He fought hard in the city and the town. His heart broke when his Lalo got drowned. They could have listened, could have found a new side, but since when does the government shine? Different business and a different law. One means money and the other much more. Gonna build a dam, gonna build a dam. Gonna build a dam, gonna build a dam. Gonna build a dam, gonna build a dam. They don't give a damn, gonna build a dam over my country. Hey! I'm your ruler, I know this ground. I'm your ruler, don't dam it down. And the river's my body. Can you hear the thundering clouds? Walla Walla, he'll tear you up. He's a cheeky one, that's one. Bad business, that Harding Dam. Stay away from our riverman. Hey! I'm your ruler, I know this ground. I'm your ruler, don't dam it down. And the river's my body. Can you hear the thundering clouds? Walla Walla, he'll tear you up. He's a cheeky one, that's one. Bad business, that Harding Dam. Stay away from our riverman. You rely, you rely, you rely, you rely. You rely, you rely, you rely, you rely. You rely, you rely, you rely, you rely. You rely, you rely, you rely, you rely.
How would you compare Tom Waits' version of Make It Rain to the Spinifex Gum's take on the original?
The song, what it means for me, I think is a lot different to what I think Tom Waits is singing about. Like when he does his version, there's a lot of things that, when there's lines, some of the lines in that song, he took all my money and my best friend, I go back to, things that have been taken from us in community, taken from mob,
So before all the girls were born, way back in the day, Uluru, the big important site for Aboriginal people, but also geographical site in the middle of Australia, was handed back to the traditional owners. And when that happened, it was very contentious, and the community wanted to make a film about that handback, and they asked Midnight Oil, would we write some of the music for that film? And Dead Heart was a song that originally was written for that purpose, in part. It was on the film, which is called Uluru, an Anangu story, and then it later came onto one of our records, Diesel and Dust, and of course it became a hit around the world. Something we never expected to happen, but we were very proud of the fact that it had that origin, that Dead Heart had that origin. Singing it with Marliya is fantastic because it's adding, all of these voices. And in some ways, a choir is interesting because it's a reflection of the humanity of expression and emotion. It's not just one single personality, as it is when I'm singing part of it. With the choir, you've got an amalgam of different voices, different ways of phrasing. Some people are a little sharp, some people might be not quite so sharp, they might be a bit flat, but that's the beauty of it, because it comes together in this whole sound. And that whole sound is the sound of community and humanity. And so singing in amongst that is a massive pleasure.
White man came, took everyone. We don't serve your country, don't serve your king. White man, listen to the songs we sing. White man came, took everything. The true country that cannot be stolen, following the steps of our ancestry that cannot be broken. We don't serve your country, don't serve your king. Know your custom, don't speak your tongue. White man came, took everyone. We don't need protection, don't need your hand. Keep your promise on where we stand. Gonna listen, gonna understand. Yeah, 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 yeah. We carry in our hearts the true country, and that cannot be stolen.
for a long time, young people have had things to say. I think the difference is when young people have things to say, but they also do something about it, that's when a real difference can be made. And I think that's where these girls, the work that they've put in, they've absolutely committed so much time, so much effort into this, and that's what they can do. That's what they feel they can do. So I think that's where the power is.
Stop me running, I go running out the door. Stop me running, I go running back home. Catch me if you can, adapt, you can, you slow-mo. My lightning feet don't even need your white shoes. Roll in a mind and we're human. Roll in a big red ball and all of your big fat fingers. You don't even know what I know. Wally wally, I'm a Lightfoot bandit. Wally wally, I'm keeping up dirt, and you never ever know where I'm standing. Wally wally, I'm a light in this world. Yonder the sky stretch sideways. Yonder the sky stretch long. Yonder the song of our elders. You tell me what you'll never know. Don't stop me here now. 'Cause I'm winging this song. Stop me dancing, I go dancing on the floor. Stop me dancing, I go dancing back home. Try to rock me with your dinosaur two-step. I got the moves, you won't believe it, you so. All of your facts and your spreadsheets, they fall in a bit and hold. All of your cause and effects, see. None of them know what I know. Wally wally, I'm a Lightfoot bandit. Wally wally, I'm kicking up dirt, and you never ever know where I'm standing. Wally wally, I'm a light in this one. See what is different. You mean very big, but you don't see what I see in the distance. I really ever know what I know. Don't stop me here now. 'Cause I'm running with the two steps forward and the wind's in my hair. See, I run so fast, I'm a rocket on souls. Water, water, all stars go light speed. And they should name the next home in my one. Wally wally, I'm a Lightfoot bandit. Wally wally, I'm kicking up dirt, and you never ever know where I'm standing. Wally wally, I'm a light in this one. Roll in your mind and we're human. Roll in a big red ball and all of your big fat fingers. You don't even know what I know. Don't stop me here now. 'Cause I'm a winging this song.
Jalika was just a girl like us. She was a wonderful, spiritful, happy, valuable member of the society she was in, just like any of us were, and she was wrongly imprisoned. She sadly became very ill and was taken to the hospital, and they couldn't find anything, and they kind of made out like she'd been making it up and she was just, trying to get out, just another troublemaker in their eyes. And then, unfortunately, she did pass away in her cell, and the mistreatment, which they have on record, that everybody can see, was disgusting. And I think it's so important that we share her story because it's so recent. I mean, people can look at some of the other songs and think, well, it did happen so long ago. This was a matter of years. This was a young girl who died in custody, who shouldn't have been there in the first place, who shouldn't have been ignored. And I think as a group of women, young women like her, singing the song, singing her story, and having that tribute to her is just so important.
Hello, you caught me driving. Just a minute. I'll just pull off over the road.
We can call back if you'd like.
No, it's all right. We'll just park over here and the family can just wait for a little while. How about that?
Okay.
Oh, I've got a little spot now. Okay.
Carol, what was Jalika like as a person?
Oh, full of smiles. Always smiling. I say, what's the matter? You won lotto, you're smiling. And then I'm just glad to be home.
And what kind of things do you remember about her being home?
She loves laying down, cuddling the kids and laying around with us, you know. My bed was the family bed. Just lay back and talk and have a yarn and put music on and show her little sister Yolanda. Oh, this is how you break it down, babe. Things like that.
And what would you like to tell people before we sing for her?
What I'd like to say, I hope everyone got a happy spirit as Jalika did. Be there for everybody and help everybody. That's the kind of person she was. She would, you know, she would give her right arm to you to help you. And wow, her life was taken, it hurt me, broke me, wicked.
The coronial inquest into the death in custody of Jalika Dew has heard the West Australian woman died from pneumonia and septicemia. Ms Dew died last year after being detained under a controversial policy of paying off unpaid fines through time in jail. The CCTV vision presented today revealed Ms Dew was heard groaning, and when questioned by police about her level of pain, she responded that it was equal to 10 out of 10.
Miss Dew died too young, 22, when they carried her like a dead kangaroo from a cell back to the same hospital. Who'd assume that her pain must be invisible? But she cried 3 days about aching while Constable Bond said now she's faking it. Just another junkie who's trying to escape, another black troublemaker. Well, I'm not taking it. She's like a 2-year-old, give her paracetamol. Little did they know her septicemia had taken hold. It's white prejudice digging black holes. Every black death in custody's a black now soul. Miss Jew had fines, yeah, just a few, 3,622. Got her locked up in the Port Helen Zoo, where the few rich make millions while it's new. Still they called her a user until she died. Cold truth in her pain in her eyes. Racism so deep, it's become institutionalized. What they did to Jew is the real crime. Where they call up the weather, horizon so long and a law without letters. See it come, feel it fall like forever. Did it rain so long, all our tears made a river? It wasn't me, I'm innocent. Say the ones who betrayed her in every sense. Now they're whitewashing away evidence. Will we ever see a cop locked up for negligence? Will we ever see the rock turn up on ignorance? Will we ever see a government who first listens? Will we ever see the stats fall in black prisons? Did Jew die for nothing? No, she didn't. Miss Jew died too too young, 22, when they carried her like a dead kangaroo. And we wish that it wasn't true, but it is. So the next question is, what are we gonna do?
Look, I have high admiration for Briggs. I know some of the history of his people. I know his father, the Yorta Yorta people, that part of the country, the way they've been dealt with by the High Court, the tremendous work that's been going on in that part of the world through the Rumballara Football Netball Club. This young man who comes out and says it how it's to be said, sings it how it has to be sung, and is not afraid to put his principles to the forefront against whatever might be expedient or to the benefit of his career. Now, it's a great thing. He's a version of the Archie Roach of this world, but he's in a different age bracket. Fantastic to see him doing what he's doing, and I would encourage him to continue doing that and to focus in on the youth and the plight that we have got and the seriousness that if we don't fix this, we just throw our young people away and put them on the scrap heap, then that is a legacy we're all going to stand condemned about. He's focusing a light on that, and he's raising the voice for the voiceless. The young women's voices are focusing in on really sad issues, painful issues of young people being decimated basically, but yet rising above that pain to put into lyrical form the sound of hope, the sound of betterment, the sound that things can change here, but we have to acknowledge what is there, and that will pass, that will go if we stand together and we sing, as it were, in unison, and if we make our voices heard, whichever way we do that, whether it's the hard toughness of Briggs, or whether it's the more sweet melody of these young women, bringing to bear and complimenting what he has done, because the two things are critically important. The main thing about this is young people who are taking control over a very, very important area, using their talents, using this medium as the way to get their message across, and doing it very effectively.
In the system, findings, reports and broken missions, numbers, statistics when they're making decisions, assess the risks and build another prison. Got a license for a car, they understaffed, positions need filling and they need another guard who must pass when they're frightened in the dark. They go speak hoods, understood that it's what they want. You'd expect them to act, they get told they're no good. Stand them in line and you make them go last. False starts, everyone runs past and you tell them catch up while they're choking on dust. Blow it up, cause our name on the frame so they know it's us. Tell them where I'm at and they can follow me. Remember that their kids, not a campaign policy. Isolate the individual, separate from the families, visits and intervals. Maximum punishment, rehab is minimal. Treat them like that, you just make them better criminals.
Take this silence and blow it up. Why go so young? Born sisters, burning sun. Why
favourite song in the show and why?
In Miss Dew, when everyone turns to point, it really punches me in the heart. And the other is in Children Came Back. You girls used to be very polite and timid with it. And now you're really fierce and strong, and I feel like you're summoning the ancestors or something because you're hitting the ground, and it's percussive, and there's this rhythm, and it just, you know, you're putting your foot down to, I don't know, to just bring up something really great.
Marliya is where people see who we are. Marliya is our identity, and that sweetness, that looking at each other, that holding hands, that connectiveness we feel across the stage, that's who we are. I mean, you've heard what we want to say, you've seen what we think, but Marliya is when you see who we are and how we are just girls. We're girls with strong voices and powerful messages, but we're sisters. We're one big group and we love each other. We love performing. It's something we do so often, and it's something we're so comfortable with. And Marliya is such a sweet song to kind of thank each other and thank the audience.